All right. Well, that was Visto Blanco with Death Rattle. So that CD is, like I said, it's their sophomore release, and it is self-titled Visto Blanco. It is on Rat Pack Records. You can go to ratpackrecords.com, and the pack is P-A-K, so ratpackrecords.com. Check that out. It came out on November 25th, so it's fairly new, and it does feature Alice Cooper's daughter, as a matter of fact, Calico Cooper, in the band as well. And they even do a cover on that CD of Feed My Frankenstein. So,
sweet!
Yes. So, you will notice there are definitely some like White Zombie influences in there, maybe even a little bit of
I
Motorhead.
totally got that from that song. That was very Rob. I wouldn't even see White Zombie, more Rob Zombie. But anyway, yeah, definitely there.
Yeah, so at any rate, check it out. I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. And you can pick up their first CD. They've got it on sale for $10. So there you go.
Cool. All right. Well, that's Death Rattle from Visto Blanco. Biz Best Band You Never Heard of on this episode of According to Metal. And on every episode of According to Metal, we highlight for you a band, according to Biv, is the band you need to listen to, the band that not many people have heard of, the band that no one's listening to but Biv and a couple other people, and that's a damn shame, which is why we talk about it here on every episode of the show. And if you feel you are that band, you feel that you are in a band that should be Biv's Best Band You Never Heard of, or you have a friend or a family member or somebody you know who are like, these guys are great and no one's listening to them and it sucks and it makes me mad, man, oh man, I only wish I knew of a place or a podcast or somebody who would promote and highlight these guys because they get killer music and I want people to hear them. Well, hey, you're listening to that kind of podcast who will do just that. And the way you can do that is make sure you send them information on how to listen to our show in case they aren't familiar with our show. If you are in a band yourself, and you want to send your stuff to us, feel free to do so via MP3. Just send us an email at accordingtometal@gmail.com. That's accordingtometal@gmail.com. Send us your stuff. We'll check it out. We'll listen to it. I can tell you we have had a handful of bands who've done so. We have one band who's made the cut of Triple B. So it does happen. It can happen. And that may be you next time. So make sure you do that. If you're a band that's out there or know somebody who is, send us your stuff. We'll check it out. We'll listen to it. And maybe, just maybe, after our stringent qualifications and all the things, and we check the lists and make sure that everything meets the qualifications we need, you may be lucky enough, yes you, to be the next Biv's Best Band we've never heard of here on According to Metal. Send us your stuff. We'd love to check it out.
Hi, this is Kim Olsen of Anubis Gate, and you're listening to According to Metal.
All right, so before we get into reviews here, and again, we have 5 pretty cool reviews that Biv and I are going to go over with you. Obviously, this is a podcast, so we record this. It's not as if you're hearing this live, or could even hear it live. You can hear it whenever you feel like it on the podcatcher of your choice. We record it, but we try to sometimes record the show all in one fell swoop. A little behind the scenes. We'll figure out a time that works best for the guest and for us, and we'll kind of make it a night. We'll do kind of everything all on the same night, et cetera, et cetera. And the show isn't scripted by any means. I mean, we try to make it as authentic as possible. But you're still going to take some bullet points. You're still going to, make some notes of things that you want to make sure you cover, et cetera, et cetera. And, we do that as well. I mean, when you're talking track by track of certain, songs or certain album that stood out for you, and this song had this instrumental part or whatever, you're going to make a note of it, and you're not just going to do it from memory. You're going to have bullet points and jot things down. I do it. I mean, again, like I said earlier, there's a stack of stuff there. Now, truth be told, we did most of the show last night with the exception of this portion and the reviews. And the reason being is because Biv had some detailed notes and whatnot he made of the reviews. We came prepared this week, folks, let me tell you. But Biv left all of his notes in his day planner at work, which I don't know of anybody under retirement age who actually has a day planner. But apparently Biv does. And so we're actually recording this portion of the show and the reviews on a separate night because Biv has a day planner. So am I the only one who thinks that anybody under the age of 65 typically doesn't have a day planner, or is it just me? Curious your thoughts on the Facebook page.
As we've already discussed, I'm 74. So
well, that's true. I guess we should know that. But here's the interesting caveat to this. So I make fun of Biv's age here, but if you are friends with Biv on Facebook, you would have seen his most recent post about his rant against Uber, which is not something a typical 74-year-old would use quite often. In fact, 74-year-olds probably don't know much of what Uber does or is. Biv does, so Biv's pretty hip in that regard. But he had a rant in regards to, what is it, surge rates or whatever. I don't even know what that is, honestly. And I'll explain here in a second why I don't know what that is and have a mini rant of my own. But Biv, for those who, we have people from all over the world that listen. Maybe they use Uber, maybe they don't. Explain to us, and me for that matter, what a surge rate is. I think I have an idea, but I'm not sure.
Well, what happens is whenever there's a major event around town, or it could be inclement weather, it could be any number of things, and there is allegedly a higher demand than there are drivers available, what they will do, according to Uber, is they will increase the rate to encourage more Uber drivers to come out into that area of town. Well, the problem with that is that I'm sitting there with my app, right? Now, yes, I'm 74, and I open up my app, but I can see that there's 6 cars within a mile of me waiting to pick someone up. But yet the rate keeps going up. It went from 1.3 to 1.5. I don't pay surge rates, ever. I think I have one time, and that was out of dire necessity. And then it goes up to 2 times the rate. And so finally, I'm like, you know what? Fuck off. I'm walking to the bus stop. And I did. And I took the bus. And now I'm so pissed off, I'm taking the bus again tomorrow.
See, but
with or without surge.
But the reason why I don't know what surge rates would be, and I've used Uber, twice in my entire life. Biv knows this about me, but I want to share this with the audience and everyone. I have an absolute loathing and disdain, almost of like Opeth Sorceress album proportion, of public and mass transit. I can't stand it. I hate it. Now, granted, Uber's a little different because at least it's, person to person, if you will. But I hate the idea, and maybe it's the American in me, and oh well, piss off, that I want to be able to come and go as I please. I cannot stand the fact that I have to be relying on some dumbass to pick me up to do anything. I can't. I won't have it. I can't deal with it. And I give Biv a lot of shit because he's Mr. Public Transportation nowadays. And I can't deal with it. I just can't. For that reason alone, I would be... That alone gives me every reason to just get in my car and come and go as I please and laugh at those who have to go to, the bus or a cab or Uber or any of that shit.
Okay,
screw that.
In all fairness, this is the first problem I've had in over a year of using Uber almost every day. And in some cases, 3, 4, 5 times a day. Okay? Now, having said all that, people are like, well, isn't it terribly inconvenient? No, I open up my phone and I hit an app button and, 3 minutes later, a guy pulls up to the door. There are advantages. I live in downtown Indianapolis. I work in downtown Indianapolis. So I don't pay for parking. I don't have to park in a parking lot that's in a different zip code and walk to my building. There's a lot of advantages to it. And come winter, I'm not the one shoveling my car out. I'm not the one cleaning off the car. I'm not, you know what I mean? So there are pros and cons, but the bottom line is.
But I mean, for those who don't live anywhere near a city of that size, screw that shit.
Well, no, that's not what it's designed for. It's designed for people who, are in or around town. It's not designed for, Billy Bob who lives out in BFE. That's not what it's for.
So I'm Billy Bob now. Okay. Anyway.
Well, yeah.
Piss off. Anyway, reason number 1,234 that mass transit and public transportation can kiss my ass. That's all I'm saying. I can't stand it. I know we have plenty of people throughout the globe that listen to the show and are probably big fans, and they have the infrastructure that's set up to maybe pull it off in a little bit better fashion. We don't, and I think it sucks, and I want to be able to leave at 10:18 a.m. when I feel like it instead of going, oh, let me get to my stop and sit there like a jerk-off for an hour so that I can catch the bus or a train or a F-off. I'm leaving when I want to leave. Goodbye. I'll pay for parking. I don't care. I'm out. That's just me.
Well,
but anyway,
he did catch the midnight train going anywhere. Just know that.
I did. And the midnight train to Georgia as well.
Right.
But speaking of, what was that, Gladys Knight and Journey, both mentioned on the According to Metal podcast. Oh, man, we got to get that off. Let's cleanse our palate with a little metal reviews. Biv, let's get this started. Ready?
It's time for new metal album reviews.
Do you think about the end? The words you say with your last breath and the emptiness in space. You think about the end? That's the last breath. The words you say with your last breath and the emptiness in space.
That was the end from In Flames' new album, Battles. And this is a band, it's near and dear to my heart. They have been for quite some time. But I will also tell you that for about a decade, I've pretty much written them off as a band that used to be a favorite that now just sucks. And so here they are with another album. I have lots of thoughts and opinions on this particular one, especially. Spent a lot of time listening to it, trying to dissect it. And it's interesting that this is an interesting episode. We have In Flames we have Metallica, and we have two pretty big acts that are making music, and some people are already quickly coming out and saying, hey, this is the band that I fell in love with a long time ago, and they're back. And yeah, more on that in a second. But I am the In Flames fan of old. Biv is not, in fact. This would be one of those reviews that you would kind of chalk up to, we do a podcast together, and this is an album I really wanted to make sure we did. And Biv, being a good sport and a friend of mine, goes, all right, whatever, we'll do a review on In Flames. So he's coming in with a perspective that's way different than mine. So I think it'll be interesting to share our thoughts and opinions on this album with you guys, of course. So Biv, not being in the In Flames camp, good or bad, and just kind of indifferent, at least I believe that's where you are. What did you think of Battles, my friend?
Well, you're correct. That is exactly where I'm at. I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm not hoping that it's good. I'm not hoping that it's bad. I don't really have a reference point. I know that many fans will tell you that this band was at its best in its first, 4 albums or so.
Oh yeah.
And to your point, a lot of people had a lot of expectations and have had a lot of expectations. Very similar, actually, to Metallica, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they had.
Well, I think the parallels make sense,
Yeah, well, yeah, the first 4 or 5 albums were great, and then they came along Load and Saint Anger, and whatever. So we've been waiting and waiting and waiting for a good record to come from them as well, and we'll find out if that delivered here soon. So first of all, I want to say this: they might have the coolest album cover of any review we're doing this week.
Wow, you think